Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program this Monday morning. It is exactly 19 after 8 o'clock South African time, and we're crossing over now to Berlin in Germany. And we're talking with filmmaker and activist, and that, of course, is you, Pary El-Qalqili. Assalamu alaikum. Do welcome to the program. And thank you for your patience this morning.
Alaikum salam. Good morning.
All right, lovely to have you here. Can you briefly introduce yourself and your involvement in the pro-Palestinian movement?
Yes, I'm a filmmaker and activist. I'm a Palestinian, born and raised in Berlin. And since October, but even the years before, we are organizing protests against the German support of the occupation and also of the apartheid politics of the State of Israel.
Let's, and I do understand, before I get to the heart of the matter, that things are not easygoing as far as the situation in Palestine is concerned, and the support by Palestinian and other people living in that part of the world, in Germany that is, it seems as if the German authorities are not tolerant to pro-Palestinian support at all.
Yeah, the opposite. Actually, what we are witnessing in Germany is a very harsh crackdown on pro-Palestine protests. In October, we had 2 weeks of total ban of pro-Palestine protests, which was very severe because the fundamental right of the freedom of assembly was violated for 2 or 3 weeks. And we are facing a lot of police violence, and the police violence is basically going against children and youth, unaccompanied refugees from Gaza, which are hit by the genocidal violence on their families in Gaza, and they're hit on the streets of Berlin by police violence.
So describe your experience during the protest, particularly when the 11-year-old boy was detained by German police.
Yes, so this Saturday, there was a demonstration of around 600 protesters. These demonstrations take place actually twice a week. People are really taking regularly to the streets to give a voice to their discontent, their protest, and also their critique to the genocide that is happening. And this Saturday, the protest was ending, and the protesters started to leave the demonstration. And out of the blue, the police, actually really a bunch of them, more than 5, started hunting down on an 11-year-old child. And the child was so scared. It was taking place in a very central place in Berlin, in front of the Memorial Church, which is in the center of the city. And the child was so scared by the police officers hunting him that he was running away in fear. One of the protesters started to actually try to protect the boy, but the police, of course, didn't allow him, violently separated the boy from the protester that tried to protect him, and arrested the boy. So we had, in the end, more than 12 police officers surrounding the boy and bringing him to the police car. And the boy was crying. The boy was in total despair. And the police didn't allow any of the protesters to be with the child and to calm him down. And the child was held for more than 90 minutes in the police car without a parent present.
How did the crowd react to the police action?
Of course, the protesters reacted with a lot of discontent and critique. They were yelling at the police, asking why the boy was held in custody, but the police officers didn't give any answer to the crowd, because it also turned out that there was no reason for the arrest. The police is now saying officially that they held the child because they wanted to guarantee his safety, because he was alone on the protest. But of course, all the protesters who really saw the arrest and who were trying to speak to the police officers are saying that, well, the police put the child into risk because they put him into a very dangerous and also traumatic scenario, and the boy was scared by the police. So obviously the whole report of the police why they had to arrest the boy is false. And we are demanding actually an investigation into this case, because every child has the right to be protected from violence. And here clearly the police officers arrested totally unlawfully an 11-year-old child.
So you clearly believe, and I should imagine all of the protesters and everybody viewing this footage around the world, obviously it's gone viral, that the action of the police was just not justified, and it was excessive use of force. Do you know, I'm not quite sure if you were able to get close to the boy. Do you know if he was hurt at all, apart from the mental anguish that he's been subjected to, but physically, do you know if he was harmed at all by the police?
Yeah, no, we spoke to the father of the boy, and we heard until now, only now, that the boy was interrogated in the police van by a police officer, which is also unlawful. 11-year-old boy is not allowed to be interrogated without his legal guardians or his parents. He was not physically harmed, but definitely he's under shock now, and the family is very concerned and has to monitor now whether the boy will have a trauma from this police force.
How do incidents like this impact the public's perception of protests and activism? Clearly, we're not sure about the little boy, if he would feel comfortable enough to go for future demonstrations and protests. But do you think these type of actions by the police using such brutal force is going to impact on people like yourselves? And will this lessen the the fact that people should be going out in their droves? Do you think this will intimidate people to attend future protests and action marches?
Yeah. No, actually, the protesters who are protesting against the genocide in Gaza and the occupation and the apartheid are very clear in this. We all know that the police is using such a force is a directive, a political directive that is coming from above. And we know that they don't want to see our protest on the streets, because we are actually demanding an end to the genocide, and also we are accusing Germany of complicity in this genocide. And we know that the police has to oppress our protests because they don't want to have these dissent voices on the streets. And actually, the police violence is making the protesters only more determined. And the protesters are mainly saying, we are not giving up the streets as a space of protest. And we are aware of the unjustified and unlawful police violence, and we are trying to make our protest as safe as possible by having a documentation team that is documenting the police violence, by publishing statements, by taking also care of the people who got arrested, by providing them with lawyers, with consultation about racist police violence, with going with them to the doctors, and so on. But people will not stop protesting against the genocide. They are very clear in this, and they will not give up. It doesn't matter if they are facing police violence.
Pary, can we please ask you to be patient? We need to take an ad break. We'll be back with you in a minute or two to wrap up the interview. Please do stay with us.
Okay.
With Salam Media. This is Salam Media. coming to you live from South Africa.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Are you ready to ignite a wave of compassion and make a lasting impact? This Rabiul Awal, let's come together for something truly meaningful. Join Penny Appeal South Africa's Rabiul Awal campaign. Build a water well, provide a hot meal, sponsor a food garden, or plant an olive tree in Palestine or fruit tree in South Africa. Make a difference today. Visit our website www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573. Your giving, their dawn of hope.
You know, it's a wonder how kids get anything done these days. With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
Valley's Motor Spares. We supply motor spares and accessories for all makes and models of motor cars, LDVs, buckies, trucks, and earth-moving equipment. We deliver on time, every time. Please contact us via WhatsApp on 014-592-0925 or call 014-592-0925 or visit 28 Zenderling Street, Rustenburg. Remember the name, Valley's Motor Spares.
Get ready for the Palestine Solidarity Alliance 15th Annual Mass March for Freedom. 6 October, Rose Park, Lenasia. Tickets and t-shirts are on sale every weekend at Frontline Hyper Lenasia. Support a variety of pop-ups and be a part of a community dialogue with prominent guest speakers while receiving feedback on the various solidarity events. For more information, simply call 083-258-2786. Don't miss the Palestine Solidarity Alliance 15th Annual Mass March for Freedom, 6 October, Rose Park, Lenasia.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. This is News and Views on Salam Media. It is exactly 8:33 a.m. South African time. We're talking with Pary El-Qalqili. She's a filmmaker and activist from Berlin. And of course, we are talking about that news clip that has gone absolutely viral. It is showing the German police chasing an 11-year-old boy carrying a Palestinian flag who ran visibly afraid when officers approached him during a protest in Berlin before he was caught and taken into custody. And of course, Pary has given us the background to this story, and it's absolutely disheartening that grown men can actually traumatize an innocent little 11-year-old child to this degree. And perhaps it's their own way of using psychological warfare on the protesters in Berlin, in Germany. It probably is their way of hoping to subdue the pro-Palestinians who are marching and calling out for the horrific genocide to stop in Palestine. Coming back to you, Pary, let's also look at what's going to happen now. The next steps for the pro-Palestine movement in Germany. We also want to know how our listeners can support your cause, but let's talk about the first step first. What's the next step as far as you guys are concerned?
I mean, the pro-Palestine movement in Berlin will continue to take onto the streets and demand an end to this genocide. We demand also all states actually to take responsibility and really cut economic, diplomatic, and political ties with the state of Israel. And yeah, so we are continuing to demand also a boycott of the state of Israel. And the protesters will continue going to the streets despite the police violence.
How can listeners and viewers this morning to this interview, both in South Africa and in Germany, support the cause?
I think by, first of all, getting all the information about the situation on the ground in Gaza and the occupied territories, and to inform yourself by critical media who's really giving a report on the things, on the violations and crimes on the ground, and then making these stories visible, because what we are facing is also that it's so hard that the journalists on the ground in Gaza are actually reporting. They're getting killed by the bombardment. They are targeted killings of journalists in Gaza. So it's really a task for all of us to actually be a witness of this genocide and to continue speaking about it and demanding to our governments that they intervene, as South Africa did with opening the case of and accused the state of Israel of genocide against Palestinians, which we are all very, very grateful for.
And we always pledge, we have pledged in the past, and we continue making the pledge here at Salam Media that we will continue keeping the story of the Palestinian people alive, inshallah. Pary El-Qalqili, you're a filmmaker and activist based in Berlin. Thank you indeed for talking with us today, and please keep that flag flying as high as you can for our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Go well. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Thank you so much. Masalam.
It is exactly 8:37 News and Views moving along. We're going to join up now with Zara Suleiman, co-founder of Gift of the Givers.